Hey everybody, I want to give you 3 quick things you can do right now to make the most of this gathering, of this experience online together. Number 1, I want you to share this video. Whatever platform you might be watching on, Facebook, YouTube, church online, depending on what church you go to, you're on one of those platforms. And right now I would ask you, before we jump into the gathering, please share this post. Let other people know, your friends, people that know you on social media, know what you're doing, because that's the best way to invite them in and let them know you can join in from your home. Please be a part of what's happening. So number 1, please share this post right now. Number 2, I want you to subscribe. If you go to your church's YouTube page, you can always press the subscribe button. And subscribing really means I'm all in, and I want you to let me know anytime you put up new content, because there's stuff happening throughout the week at all the churches in our wonderful church network, and I want to make sure you don't miss it. So please go to your church's YouTube page, press subscribe, and be in the know anytime something happens on that platform. And number 3, I want you to post about it. Please make a post today or this week letting people know that you watched this content, that you found it valuable, so more people can come and find it later and rewatch a message or listen to some music or whatever that happens to be. If it was meaningful to you, please post about it so other people can come and find it. Let's jump into service in just a few minutes.
As we prepare for our gathering today, I wanted to share with you an encouragement that just because plans may have changed, it doesn't mean that your dreams have to change. These are unprecedented times, but unprecedented times call for out-of-the-box leaders. And at the Eastlake Leadership College, we remain committed to training the next generation of leaders who want to find their passion and serve their community and earn their degree. We would love to start the conversation with you. You can email me, amanda@eastlake.college, or go online and check out our programs, eastlake.college. And if you know someone who has a student who could use this information, we would love for you to share it out just like we share our gatherings.
Gotta take hold of it. We were made for this. I know we were made for this. I know we were made for this. We just passed, but still that feeling. Something more yet to be seen. We didn't compromise. What will be learned to let it be. Born ordinary life was never our type. The safer routes we could have chose. It's not always black and white. You only live one life. You gotta fight it on your own. This is our moment. This is our time. Gotta take hold of it. We were made for this.
we believe that every student, high school and middle school, can still be growing in their faith during this season. That's why we've launched something called Students United, and it's all on YouTube. So go on YouTube, type in Students United, and subscribe to our channel. On the channel, you will find new content every single week for middle school and high school. The content is jam-packed full of amazing sermons, engaging games, and fun hosts. Middle school is on Saturday nights, high school is on Wednesday nights, and I cannot wait to see you there this week.
Born to be wild, born to be free. I'll always be here as long as you're standing right next to me. Adventure will take us into the unknown. Look straight ahead, cause forward's the only way to go. Oh, I believe it's something special. It's something special. Oh, no, it's the best. It could be nothing to question. Oh, when we come together.
We want to make sure you are aware of all the great things we have going on across our church network. The two best ways to do that are by checking out our website and also following us along on our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram. On those pages, you'll find out everything from events, activities, outreach opportunities, and so much more. We hope you enjoy the service.
It's the best, it could be nothing to question. Oh, when we come together. Life can last forever. When we come together. Go anywhere that we want now. Nothing can stop us. Taking me places to go now. Nothing we can do.
Out here with the squad, everybody tryna go, yeah, the party jumping off. Hey, we putting on a show, tryna catch a vibe. We do this.
Hey everyone, I want to invite you to check out Kids United. Kids United is an online service experience for you and everyone in your family. Kids United is a place where you can have fun, and it's also a place where you can learn more about God and connect with your family during the weekend. Make sure that you look for us in YouTube. Our channel is Kids United. Subscribe and check out the new content that comes out every Saturday at 10 a.m. I will see you there.
This is where I wanna stay. I could do this every day. It don't matter what they say. I'm like, say, hey, I've been on the wave. It's a party, make a toast. It's a party every day. So anywhere you go, all across the coast, we do it every time. Like, I got nothing but the highlights. Can't believe that this is my life. I'm only living on the bright side. I'm like, this is where I wanna be. Never ever gonna leave. You ain't gonna get it from me. I'm like, this is where I wanna stay. I could do this every day. It don't matter what they say. I'm like, you better know we ain't never going home. Ain't never going home. You better know.
Well, welcome to our gathering. We are so glad that you're here and joining us for this great experience. Today, we're going to have some music and worship, a great talk from our With Stronger Together series. We're going to celebrate some wins and stories from our church family and talk about the 10-week challenge. It's going to be a great day. This series that we are in is called With Stronger Together, and it's all about us coming together to put our faith in action. It's about us growing in our relationship with God and our relationships with each other. And we see this idea of being with each other in Scripture in Matthew 18:20, where Jesus says, "For where 2 or 3 gather together as my followers, I am there among them." And today, we are gathered together from homes to living rooms, backyards. We are unified in our desire to be more like Jesus and show His hope and love to those around us. And this first song you're going to hear is called Together. And it talks about how we will all make it through this season hand in hand, together. So as we hear this song, I want each of us to make this our prayer today. Let's listen.
This is for the busted hearts. This is for the question marks. This is for the outcast soul, lost control, no one knows. Sing it for the can't go back. Sing it for the broken past. Sing it for the just found out life is now upside down. If you're looking for hope tonight, raise your hand. If you're feeling alone and don't understand, if you're fighting in the fight of your life, then stand. We're gonna make it through this hand in hand. And if we fall, we will fall together.
This is for the second chance. This is for the new romance. Sing it for the loved in vain, overcame. It's not too late.
If you're looking for hope tonight, raise your hand. If you're feeling alone and don't understand, if you're fighting in the fight of your life, then stand. We're gonna make it through this hand in hand. And if we fall, we will fall together. And when we rise, we will rise together. If you're looking for hope tonight, you're in the struggle. If you're feeling alone tonight, you're all alone. If you're in the fight of your life, we're gonna make it happen, yeah. I will be by your side, 'cause love is in the air tonight. All up to see the light, whenever, every, just as long as we together say it. We fall, we will fall together. I see you, my brother, together. I see you, my sister. And when we rise, we will rise together. And if we fall, we will fall together. And when we rise, we will rise together. Together we are dangerous. Together with our differences. Together we are bolder, braver, stronger.
Before we get into this week's talk, I want to let you know what's going to happen next week. We are going to tackle a subject. It's a pretty light subject, not very emotional. Next week, we are talking about politics. That's right. We're going to be speaking about politics next week. And I think this is going to be a very important week for you, for me, and for the church at large. We're going to be discussing how we as Jesus people ought to respond to such a polarized culture. We're going to be talking about how we as the church can stay stronger together through this moment and through all of this craziness that all of us are facing. So don't miss next week. I think it's going to be super helpful for all of us. All right, we're going to jump in now to week 3 of our Stronger Together series. We've been focusing on serving, how to serve each other, how to serve the world. And we've been going through the story of Nehemiah. We're going to wrap that story up today. And we're going to talk about what happens when opposition comes into our lives and how you and I can respond in a godly way to that opposition. So if you missed the last couple weeks and the story of Nehemiah, I'll fill you in and bring you up to speed super quick. So Nehemiah, this is an Old Testament story. He was a Hebrew. He was a slave in the Persian Empire. He was actually the cupbearer to the king, King Artaxerxes. So he was very close to the king. Nehemiah's ancestral home was the city of Jerusalem. That city had been destroyed about 141 years earlier. The outer walls and the gates had all been destroyed, and they have been lying in ruins ever since. Now, Nehemiah gets word from his home about the brokenness and the vulnerability of the city. It lands on his heart pretty hard. He begins to pray. He takes an opportunity to have the king's ear and lets him know he wants to go home and rebuild the city walls. The king agrees, sets him up, sends him on his way. Nehemiah gets back home, assesses the problem, prays for a couple more days, and then he gathers all the leaders of the area, all the people of the city, and he tells them the plan that God has put in his heart. This is think Braveheart, okay? This is a Braveheart speech moment that Nehemiah gives. He rallies everybody. They're all on board. This is a huge project. He gets 100% participation from the people in the town. Everything is going perfectly until he faces some opposition. Some opposition from some neighboring nations and neighboring leaders, and that's where our story picks back up today. Now, if you're a leader of any kind, you've got to know and understand this. Anytime you step up to lead, anytime you step up to make some change, to do something better, to make a difference in this world or in your life, you will face opposition. It's coming. It's going to happen. So whether you're leading a business or leading your family or leading a project, or maybe you're just trying to lead yourself, you're going to face people that will bring opposition, and they will come against you, and they won't be happy with you. Steve Jobs famously put it this way. He said, if you want to make everyone happy, sell ice cream. Everyone loves ice cream. You see, there's no such thing as an opportunity that you're going to find without accompanying opposition. Now, I hope that we'll all learn from Nehemiah on how to overcome the opposition. That's what we're going to talk about today, how to overcome this opposition that we're all going to face, or perhaps probably currently facing. So we're going to talk about some tactics of opposition. What are the ways that people come against us with opposition? And I'm going to mention just 3. I'm sure there's many, many more, but we're going to focus on the 3 that we see in the story of Nehemiah. Here's the first one that we see, and this happened in Nehemiah, and maybe it's happening to you. It's ridicule. You ever been ridiculed before? Maybe it was for a choice that you made, and people came in, they began ridiculing you. Maybe it was for a value that you hold dear and hold tight to, and you haven't wavered on that value. And people have come in and ridiculed you for it. Or maybe it's for something you stood for, or maybe it's even for the way you look. I don't know. There's probably lots of reasons people would want to come and to ridicule you or to ridicule me. It's not fun. You'll see that Nehemiah's enemies, they ridiculed him. And ridicule is always tough because what happens is it erodes our sense of self worth. Let's jump into the scripture, Nehemiah chapter 4. When Sanballat heard that they were rebuilding the wall, he became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews, and in the presence of his associates and the army of Samaria, he said, "What are those feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they finish in a day? Can they bring the stones back to life from those heaps of rubble, burned as they are?" Tobiah, the Ammonite, who was at his side, said, "What are they building? Even a fox climbing up on it would break down their wall of stones." And I mean, I've heard a lot of different insults before in my day, but honestly, Tobiah, I mean, that one about the fox, that's pretty weak, man. That's a pretty weak insult. And it sounds like this guy, Sanballat, was named after one of my favorite movies, The Sandlot. And funny enough, there are quite a bit of similarities between the movie Sandlot and this guy Sanballat, who was ridiculing Nehemiah. In the movie Sandlot, you got these kids, they were playing together, they were kind of a ragtag group. You had Squints, you had Smalls, my favorite Ham, you had you had the star Benny. And then you had their rival team. You remember what their name was? Anybody know out there? Go ahead and write it in the chat if you can remember. The name of the rival team was the Tigers. And they were the official Little League team in that town. And the Tigers, they loved to ridicule the Sandlot guys. They would ride their bikes over. They would try to break them down, make them give up, and send them home. And that's the same thing that was happening with Nehemiah. And we notice how ridicule, it's contagious, isn't it? You see, Sanballat, he starts with his initial ridicule, and then his sidekick Tobiah chimes in with that lame put down about the fox. And that's probably happened to you. I know it's happened to me. Maybe you post something you're trying to do or one of your dreams or hopes on social media, and then one person chimes in and they say something against you, and then another person chimes in, and before you know, all their minions come and they chime in and they want to ridicule you, and they want to tell you why you can't or shouldn't, or who do you think you are, or you don't really know, or you've never done that, or you're not qualified. And they ridicule, because ridicule can become contagious. So if you lead, if you step out, if you step up, if you serve, if you're going to make a difference, if you're going to bring change, there's always going to be cowards like Sanballat and Tobiah who will speak against you, who will come to ridicule you, to try to make you look bad, try to make you pack up and go home. That's ridicule. Here's another opposition you're going to face if you are going to try to do something, lead something. Resistance. Do you have any kind of resistance in your life right now that's slowing you down from becoming the person you want to become or doing the things that you want to do? You know, sometimes the resistance in our life, it's ourselves. Sometimes it's others. You see, our enemies and the enemy of our soul, they don't want us to succeed. They don't want us to overcome. They don't want us to make change in our life. They don't want us to become healthy. They want to slow us down, to create resistance in our life from becoming and from doing, from fulfilling the plans and the purpose that God has given to us. Let's keep reading our story, Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 6. So we rebuilt the wall till all of it reached half its height, for the people worked with all their heart. But when Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the people of Ashdod heard that the repairs to Jerusalem's walls had gone ahead and that the gaps were being closed, they were very angry. They all plotted together to come up and fight against Jerusalem and stir up trouble against it. Some of you can relate to that scripture because you have people and things coming into your life today that are trying to stir up trouble against you. Here's a tip. If you don't ever want to receive criticism or opposition in your life, it's very simple. Say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. Your life will be easy. Everyone will like you. Sell ice cream. This is how opposition works. You're going to be ridiculed. You're going to experience resistance. And then often this comes next, rumors. What's the last rumor that was going around about you? Hopefully it was a good one, but probably not. And if you've ever had rumors go around you, you know exactly how painful they can be. And if a lie is told enough times over and over and over, the really sad part is people start believing it. And when rumors start to spread, they usually start to become exaggerated. They get bigger and bigger and worse and worse. And that can be really painful to experience if you've ever had to go through that. Some of our kids have recently gone through that, maybe with online bullying or something with school. That's opposition. And there's a simple truth for all of us trying to lead, and that is whenever we're out there doing something, the negative parts of what we're doing, and there's always going to be positive and negative, the negative parts are always going to be exaggerated and talked about more than the positive parts. It's just the nature of the people and the things coming against us. Those are some of the tactics of opposition. When we face opposition, we're also affected. I'm going to talk about a couple ways that we're affected by opposition. Let's continue the story in verse 10. Then the people of Judah began to complain. These are the effects. Remember, the effects of the opposition. They begin to complain. The workers are getting tired. There's so much rubble to be moved. We'll never be able to build the wall by ourselves. Meanwhile, our enemies were saying, before they know what's happening, we'll swoop down on them and kill them and end their work. When you face opposition, eventually you're going to experience discouragement. When you're working hard, when you're trying to make a difference, when you're creating change, when you're accomplishing something, you're going to be bombarded by ridicule. You're going to have to fight off rumors, and chances are you're going to become discouraged along the way. This is what happened to the people of Jerusalem, and it may be what's happening to you right now in the middle of your fight, in the middle of your battle, what you're trying to lead forward. You might be feeling discouragement in the middle of that fight. And when does discouragement usually occur? It's in the middle. It's in the middle of our mission. Things might start off well. We hit some opposition. We start to get discouraged. It's usually at the halfway point. How many halfway points do we have in our lives right now? How many unfinished home projects do you have around your house? I know I have some. Honey, you might want to get on those, finish those up. But I'm sure that we do this because finishing, it's difficult. Getting halfway is easy, but finishing is difficult. Here's 4 quick responses to discouragement that we see in the story of Nehemiah. We see the first one, fatigue. When they said, "We're getting tired." It's easy to become tired in the middle of a mission. The next one we see is frustration. They say, "There's so much rubble. We don't know if we can move all of this." And they get really frustrated. And every time that we face opposition and we face discouragement, we're probably going to have some frustration. And then next we see failure. They say, "We'll never be able to finish the wall." Did you know there was actually 2 prior failed attempts to rebuild that wall in Jerusalem? And this group thought that they were about to become the 3rd. And then we see fear. When they say our enemies are going to come and attack us, they were fearful, and that was discouraging. Fear will always try to paralyze us and discourage us from what we're trying to accomplish. So how do we get out of discouragement and overcome the opposition? Let's look at three right responses to the opposition. Here's the first one: respect the opposition. Now, this doesn't mean to live in fear of it or to respect the accusation or to respect the rumors. It's not that. It means acknowledge that the opposition is real, acknowledge that it's coming against you, and acknowledge that you need to get up and do something against it. Let's take a look at what Nehemiah did when he faced his opposition. Verse 8, they all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and stir up trouble against it. But we prayed to our God, and posted a guard day and night to meet this threat. You see what they did? They prayed. That's always a good idea. And they posted guards. Prayer was the divine part. Posting guards was the responsible part. We pray and we take action. It's both. For example, it's okay to pray for God to heal you, but you might also want to go and check in with your doctor. It's okay for you to pray and ask God to bless your finances, but you're also going to want to budget and save. It's okay for you to ask God for continual health and protection, but it's also good for you to exercise and limit the amount of junk food that we take in. You see, there is the divine part and the responsible part. Jesus' people do the prayerful and the practical. We do the prayerful and the practical. Respecting opposition means to take it seriously enough to prepare for it. That way we can overcome it. Prayerful and practical. I was praying, this kind of hit me the other day. I was praying for my food. Maybe you pray for your food. When I sit down, oftentimes I will say a prayer asking God to bless the food to my body. And I found myself doing this the other day. I was praying for my meal, asking God to bless it to my body, to nourish it to me, to help it to make me strong and well and give me energy. And then it kind of hit me in this moment. And I just started shaking my head and actually apologized to God. I said, God, I'm sorry for praying this. You see, I was eating a McDonald's cheeseburger, and as I was praying, I heard this little voice in my head say, you're eating McDonald's for God's sake, and you're asking God to bless this food to your body. I mean, I believe in miracles, but that might be pushing it. All right? Be prayerful and also be practical. Here's another thing that we got to do when we're facing opposition. Reinforce your weak points. Do you know the weak points in your life, in your business, in your family, in your marriage, in your home? Do you know where you are personally susceptible to attack? Maybe it's low confidence or low self-esteem, or maybe it's pride, or maybe it's lust or greed, or maybe it's the ongoing deep need to be liked. As leaders, we have got to understand where our weak points are so that we can reinforce them and protect them so that we don't fall in those areas. This is what Nehemiah did, verse 13. Therefore, I stationed some of the people behind the lowest points of the wall at the exposed places, posting them by families with swords, spears, and bows. So let me ask you, what can you do to reinforce the weak areas in your life or your marriage or your business? Write them down. Post them in the chat. Let us know. We want to pray for you on those things. Like Nehemiah, as Jesus people, we need to build and battle at the same time. Do you see what's going on here in the story? We can't get too distracted with the battle that we stop building or that we stop accomplishing the mission. We can't get too distracted building that we aren't prepared for the attack or the battle. It's both. We must build and battle continuously and at the same time. And as we're building and battling, let's remember the Lord. That's so important. Why? Because if he called you to it, then he will call you through it. We need to remember the Lord through our opposition. We also need to remember this next part. When the battle shows up on your doorstep, it's this. Jesus' people don't take it out on others. We take it to God. We don't take it out on others. We take it to God. When you're ridiculed, when there are false rumors surrounding you, when you're being attacked, don't lower yourself to that same level and those same tactics of name calling and bickering. Bring it to God because he's for you and he's working on your behalf. Here's our last way to overcome opposition. Refuse to quit. You can ridicule me. You can slander me. You can create rumors. You can make threats. But I'm not giving up. I'm not going to stop what God has called me to because of you, because of the forces coming against me. No, I'm on mission and I'm not going to quit, and I'm going to keep following what Jesus has called me to do. That's what Nehemiah did when Sanballat tried one last attempt to stop him. You see, Sanballat requested a meeting with Nehemiah. He said, come on outside of the walls that you've built and come meet with us. But it was a trap, and he recognized that. Chapter 6, verse 2. But they were planning to harm me, so I sent messengers to them with this answer. Here it is. I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down. I don't want the work to stop while I leave to meet you. I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down. This is how we're to respond to the opposition in our lives, to the critics, to the negative people, to the ones that want to distract you. Don't stop the great work that you're doing to entertain them. Don't let those distractions stop you from fulfilling the plan and the purpose that God has placed on your life. So, what has the enemy of your soul been trying to get you to give up on? Is it a dream that he put in your heart and you're at the halfway point and you just want to quit? Or maybe it's a marriage and you've hit some difficulty. Perhaps it's a ministry that you've started and you just want things to end. But if God has called you to it, keep going. He's with you. He won't give up on you. Don't give up on him. Don't quit. Don't let the enemy win, because there is a great work that God has for you, for your life. Don't give up. We're going to end the Nehemiah story here, chapter 6, verse 15. The wall of Jerusalem was completed on the 25th day of the month of Elul. It took 52 days to rebuild. When all our enemies heard about it and all the nations around us saw it, they were ashamed. They understood that the work had been done with the help of our God. Nehemiah accomplished in 52 days what hadn't been done in 141 years because he saw a need. He let that need drive him to prayer, and then it moved him to action. What great work is the Lord calling you to do? What great work is he calling you to action in? What great work are you in the middle of? Don't give up. Don't stop. Press in. Keep going. The Lord is faithful. He will see you through it. And I don't know what opportunities or oppositions are in your life right now, but God does. And he wants to give you wisdom and strength to seize it and to overcome it. Let's pray. Jesus, may we take the dreams and the plans that you've put in our hearts, and may we continue in them, Lord, until your good work is complete within us. May we be faithful to the things that you have called us to. May we not give up. And Lord, if you're placing new dreams in our hearts, would we have the courage to stand up and to get to work on those things? We ask this in your name. Amen.
What a great message on how we can overcome opposition. We heard Pastor Luke talk about the rebuilding and restoring of the wall in Nehemiah. And in our season, there is a lot that needs to be rebuilt. As a church, we want to help restore and repair broken places and people in our city. And that's what the 10-week challenge is all about. This challenge is going along with our series with Stronger Together, and it focuses on putting our faith into action. I want to encourage you to sign up for this challenge right now. Join us in working to repair and rebuild relationships in places in our city. To register, simply go to imperialbeach.church/with or download the Eastlake Church app and sign up there. We have 2 challenges that I want to emphasize right now and to make sure that you're aware of the ways that you can get involved. First is our upcoming service project, and second are our Stronger Together boxes. Both of these challenges will give you great ways to serve our city and community and those closest to you. From our food distributions where we've been able to feed hundreds of families monthly to our Stronger Together box assembly this past week where we assembled over 1,000 boxes for our neighbors. And this year we have so many opportunities to continue serving our community. We have service projects that we as a church are leading, and you can simply sign up and attend. Also this year, there's an option for you to take a project and lead it yourself. Or even a way for you to design a project that you're passionate about and get others to help you make it happen. If you've already signed up for the 10-week challenge, then you've already received all of this via email. But right now, if anyone wants to find out more about the projects that are available, all you have to do is go to withimperialbeach.com. This site will give you everything that you need and help you get signed up for the perfect project. I want to take a moment to encourage you right now to visit withimperialbeach.com or the Eastlake Church app to find the project that you and your family would like to get involved with. And another wonderful way that you can get involved with the 10-week challenge is our Stronger Together boxes. This is something that you can pick up and give to a friend or a family that's close to you who doesn't attend our church. These boxes are meant to be a blessing to those who receive them and help them know that they can join us for church anytime. This box, it looks like this. It's a beautifully designed box, and when you pick yours up, you're going to notice that it's half full already. We've gone ahead and put some things inside of it. We put a Stronger Together mask, a magnet, some hand sanitizer, some sticky notes with verses on them, a lot of cool stuff, but it's also half empty. And we want you to put stuff in there that's specifically for your neighbor. Maybe give them some candy or something for their kids. Personalize it in a way that'll be meaningful to them. I'm giving a box to our neighbors next door, and I know that they like craft beer, and so I got that for the box. I know that they like seltzer, so I got some of that. Add content to the box and give it to them this coming week. We've already distributed so many of these boxes, and we have a supply left. And so if you weren't able to pick one up yet, go to facebook.com/Imperial Beach Church, and you can find out when the next box pickup is. Now, our ability to do these boxes and food distribution is because of your faithfulness and generosity. And I would like to invite each of you to give through our church right now. You can text IB Church to 67076, or you can visit imperialbeach.church/give. We're also going to be doing some upcoming pop-up churches and worship nights, and we want you to be there. So make sure you follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram. Well, I think that's all of the things that I needed to make you aware of today, and now we're going to sing one more song. It's called You Keep Hope Alive, and this is a song that we learned last week. This song talks about Jesus keeping hope alive. Through the darkest of times, Jesus remains true and faithful, and he keeps our hope alive. And we want you to pray this out as a church family. I encourage you to focus on what this song says. Let this be a prayer for all of us today. And once we're done singing, I'm going to come back with a few more important announcements, and then we're all going to be dismissed. Let's sing together.
Days may be darkest, but your light is greater. You light our way, God, you light our way. When evil is rising, you're rising higher with power to save, with power to save. You keep hope alive. You keep hope alive from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. They've had a stronghold. Your life was stronger. Rose from the grave, rose up from the grave. When evil is rising, you're rising higher with power to save, with power
In the morning, hope. In the evening, hope. Because you're living, hope. Because you're breathing, there's hope. In the breaking, hope. In the sorrow, hope. For this moment, my hope. For tomorrow, there is hope. In the morning, there is hope. In the evening, there is hope. Because you're living, there is hope. Because you're breathing, there is hope. In the breaking, there is hope. In the sorrow, there is hope. For this moment, my hope. For tomorrow, you keep hope alive. You keep hope alive. From the beginning to where your world never fails. You keep hope alive. Because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. Oh, you keep hope alive. You keep hope alive. From the beginning to where your world never fails. You keep hope alive. Because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. You keep hope alive. From the beginning to end, your world never fails. You keep hope alive. Because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive.
If you made a decision to begin your faith journey with Jesus today, would you let us know by texting New Start to 67076? And if you need prayer, somebody on our prayer team would love to pray with you. Just text PRAY to 67076. Don't forget to get signed up for the 10-week challenge and keep an eye out for the next Stronger Together box event. Well, I hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you next time.